and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking all about 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. This is season 6, episode 8, and the title of this episode is All Shook Up. In this video, we're going to be talking all about Elizabeth and Andrei, but before we do, my besties, I need your help by giving this video a big thumbs up. Share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on future uploads. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. I have my handy dandy phone here. I'm going to read from my notes on my phone so that I can stay on topic and get out all the points that I want to discuss in regards to these two. So let's go ahead and just get straight into it. Now, it's the next day after Elizabeth and Rebecca's fight on the boat. She tells her husband that she couldn't sleep and tossed and turned because of what happened. She goes on to say that she doesn't know if the relationship can be repaired because it really hurt her. She says they are best friends and it's not like her to act that way. And when she says it's not like her to act that way, she's talking about her sister. Okay, so if that's the case, then who is the common problem? Who's the common denominator in all of these arguments? Her husband, Andrei. Now, Andrei's only response is, it is what it is, and they have to go on the family trip because he's a go-getter and wants to aim towards continuing to make Chuck comfortable. He says that he wants to spend bro time with Chuck. And I was like, isn't that your father-in-law? That's not your bro, that's your father-in-law. Like two total different type of relationships. But okay, when Andrei tells Elizabeth that she needs to go to her sister and sort things out, Elizabeth quickly says, I'm not apologizing. So during the scene when Andrei said that Elizabeth's sisters were acting like bees, it really frustrated me that Elizabeth sat there and didn't say anything. She doesn't correct him and tell him not to call her sisters that. That was very disrespectful. He had no problem saying it. She continued to talk on and ramble on, but not check him. That shouldn't even be allowed. That should not be allowed. Some things, okay, I get you venting. You're upset about maybe the way you feel that my sisters are treating you. But to call them bees, no, that's not acceptable. Comment down below your thoughts. So she allows him to say what he said. And like I said, it's very disrespectful. And married or not, that shouldn't be tolerated. That's just, to me, I feel like crossing the line. So if he so easily calls them that, then he must be very comfortable calling his wife that too during a heated disagreement because he doesn't have respect for anyone, especially women. Elizabeth says that Andrei is her husband, so she's going to take his side when she feels that her family is attacking him. Elizabeth, in the next scene, heads over to Jen's as a mutual meetup for her and Rebecca to talk things out. Elizabeth says that she's never fought with her sister, but even though she doesn't feel as though she was at fault, she still decided to reach out to make amends before the family trip. Jen says that she understands Becky's side more, but also wants to be supportive of Libby too, because she's the youngest. So it's that, wanting to patronize the youngest because she's the baby. Everybody pretty much kind of spoils Libby. So Becky had me rolling when she walked in and was like, it's quiet. Were you two in here just talking about me? And then she looks and says to Libby, do you have an attitude still? And I just love it because it's like, okay, let's just get down to what the issue is. Like all that, tiptoeing around the situation. We're grown. We know why we're here. So she's just like, were y'all talking about me? Which they were. And it got silent when she entered in. And she called that out. And I just love the way she did that. And then she tells Libby, do you still have an attitude? And so Libby responds, no. Do you have an attitude? And Becky replies, no, I'm smiling. You're not. So Libby is definitely a spoiled brat. And it's so flippin' dramatic, telling Becky that she left a bruise on her during their fight. Libby goes into the whole, why did you talk to my husband that way? But what's crazy to me is she's okay with her husband calling her sister bees. Libby is sorry and weak when it comes to Andrei. Becky tells Libby that Andrei's moves and motives are questionable. It was hilarious to me when Elizabeth said to her sisters that Andrei is making money now and making good money. Like I said, I believe that Libby is trying to keep up with her sisters and is so desperate for her husband to carry his weight that she will allow her crooked husband to use her family. Andrei has come in and created division between the siblings. So while they're all fighting each other, he could slip in, get closer to Chuck, and get what he wants from him. So I feel like this is all a part of his plan, and people just have to be very careful and stay focused and not worry about that. Continue doing what you're doing. It'd be different if Chuck came to them and said, you know, look, I'm going to have Andrei start doing what you would normally do. But if none of that is said, I will continue doing my job, handling my business like how I normally handle it, and let Andrei scramble to figure out where his place is, where he fits in at. I wouldn't be so consumed with that, but everyone is getting very antsy and hot over the situation because of the things that he says, and so they're wanting to call it out and wanting their father to kind of see some of the moves and motives of him has been questionable. But I just think in this situation, Chuck is going to do what he's going to stay neutral because he wants to appease Libby, and you know, she's the youngest, like they said, so they spoil her. So I'm very curious to know what you thought all about Elizabeth and Andrei in this episode of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. This is season 6, episode 8, and the title of this episode is All Shook Up. Again, we talked all about Elizabeth and Andrei, and like I said, I just feel like I think the family has to now see kind of what Andrei is doing here. While they're all fighting and going head to head with one another, he's getting closer and closer to Chuck so he can get what he wants. I really wouldn't be surprised at the rate that things are going, and based off of like how Chuck has basically switched up and started to like sing Andrei's praises and talking about how great he is and, you know, how he does the job and gets the job done and stuff. I really wouldn't be surprised at the end of this if Chuck does agree to give him that $100K or meet him in the middle to give him half of it. So maybe like $50K maybe. But we'll just have to see how things kind of pan out. But I really wouldn't be surprised if Andrei didn't get that money from him or some money from him so that he can start his own business. So again, I'm very curious to know your thoughts, besties, in that comment section down below. Give this video a big thumbs up, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on videos coming out this week. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.